And I think I hear the structural insulated panel truck delivery number 1 pulling in the driveway. Kenny!
What's going on, buddy?
How are you?
Good, how are you? Everything
Good
all
to see
right?
you. Everything's good.
A little crazy, but it's all right.
It's crazy.
What do we got here?
This is the camera crew.
Camera crew?
Yeah, Mike.
Your
Just
camera
trying to,
crew?
Yeah, trying to capture this whole experience.
What are you gonna take, a movie or what?
All right, so the rest of the crew showed up this morning. They came across on the ferry, and we all got up to the job site around 7:30, 7:45. You might recall from yesterday that the foundation hadn't been completely backfilled. The dirt works crew showed up today, and they went ahead and finished backfilling everything, so we're good to go. So our first job this morning is getting the truck into position. It's a tight site, so we need to make sure that we've got plenty of room around the truck. We've got a load of structural insulated panels coming this afternoon, so we had to keep the site as open as possible. Once we got the truck parked, I was able to start unloading. As I mentioned yesterday, the sill plates, the first thing that we needed was at the bottom of the truck. So obviously we're using the crane to pick off lifts, and you can see we've got stuff spread out pretty much all over the job site. So we're fortunate to own a crane, so every job that we go to, we bring the crane because the crane is attached to the truck that we deliver the timber frame on. And we have really gotten spoiled. We use that crane probably 6 or 7 of the 9 hours that we're on the job site. We use it for all of the heavy lifting. We take for granted how quickly that allows us to move. If you don't have a crane on site, you either need to have 20 people that will allow you to move stuff around. There is a lot of shuffling that takes place during a timber frame, and then a lot of lifting of the assembled bents. Or you can rent fairly inexpensive equipment by the day, week, or month. So you could rent your own crane. You could rent a lull, which is a 4-wheel drive machine that has a hydraulic arm on it that allows you to lift and then extend out. One thing that we do that's a little bit unusual in the building industry is that we ask the foundation contractors not to install any J-bolts into the foundation. That is a J-shaped bolt that typically gets cast in place. So it's put right into the concrete as they're pouring it. We found that sometimes those J-bolts end up in the wrong place. So we basically ask the foundation contractor not to install any J-bolts, and when we arrive, we're able to swing in our PSL Plus sill plates. It's a 3.5 by 14-inch sill plate. We use the crane to set them. We can order them in very long lengths, so we have few seams, and it's very annoying if we have J-bolts in place. So we like to put our sill seal on top of the foundation, then we swing in the sill plate, and then we can actually drill and locate a fastener that we use called a Titan HD, and it's made by Simpson Strong Tie, and it allows us to put the bolts exactly where we want them, and they have received approval for a 1-for-1 replacement. So a 1/2-inch J-bolt is exactly replaced by this 1/2-inch Titan HD that we install in a hole that we drill into the foundation. The crew on this site is big enough that we're able to split into 2 teams. So right now, one crew is working on rolling out the floor joist for the first floor platform. The sill plates are down already, and the second crew is starting to assemble bents off of the platform. So about the time that the first floor platform gets done and sheathed, we should be ready to start swinging the bents up onto the platform. So we're going for maximum efficiency with the crew that we have.
I think R2H is over there.
Let's put that right in place. Let's just put that in place.
Common misconception about raising a timber frame is that you don't need many tools. We do travel to the job site with a 16-foot trailer loaded with tools. And on this particular site, we've got a couple of new tools. We bought a new nail gun that will shoot a full round head nail up to 5 1/8 inches long, which is quite unique. A typical framing nailer will shoot a 3 1/4 inch ring shank nail. It's very helpful. The thump of that big nail into the decking board helps to set it tight. One of the things that's kind of exciting about the rafter plates that we're putting on is that the building is 36 feet long, and we can't always get a 36-foot long timber, so in this case we actually used a scarf joint. It's a stop splayed scarf joint that is keyed by a post tenon that comes up between the two halves and actually drives them together. So the mortise that the tenon comes through is slightly artificially offset, so when the tenon comes up, it drives the two halves of the scarf plate together. The installation is also a little bit tricky because everything has to come together at the right time, not on top of the tenon, so that it can actually drop onto the tenon. So it's a little more involved than the rafter plate that we use in the timber frame class, which is just 24 feet long and it has 3 mortises in it. This one will actually be 36 feet by the time it's put together out of 2 different pieces. While one crew was doing that, another crew was assembling the rafters on the ground. So we build the rafters as a pair of 2 timbers that gets pegged at the peak, and we put a temporary brace across the set of rafters so that we can pick them up with a crane. So we build them on the ground and then we can just set them once we're ready, once all the rafters are built. Worked out beautifully. About the time we got the rafter plate set, the rafters were built. One of the fun traditions that we like to celebrate at every timber frame raising is the whetting bush, spelled W-H-E-T-T-I-N-G. Basically, we cut and install the wedding bush on the last rafter that we install. So it's sort of a topping out ceremony. We like to try to choose a sprig from a tree that is the same species as the timber frame. And it's a way to sort of pay respect to the trees that were slaughtered, as we say, to make the timber frame. That might be too harsh, but that is what I say in the class. It's a way to pay respect to the trees that were used in creating the timber frame, and we also like to think that it brings good luck to the timber frame. So we just wrapped up our first day on site, and it was a very good day. So we're in pretty good shape still, despite that minor setback this morning. We are excited that we got one load of SIPs across on the ferry. The next one is expected on Wednesday, so tomorrow we have a delivery break. But we are hoping that we might be able to get the 2x6 framing and gypsum that we need to start installing the panels. And then we can start thinking about installing the structural insulated panels. Hey guys, here at the Shelter Institute, we've been teaching people to design and build their homes since 1974, and we've been building timber frames for about 40 years. We design and build timber frames, we sell fine woodworking tools, we teach house building classes of many different types. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, check us out in person here at our store in Woolwich, Maine, or online at shelterinstitute.com.